Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. The disciples of John and of the Pharisees were accustomed to fast. People came to Jesus and objected, "Why do the disciples of John and the disciples of the Pharisees fast, but your disciples do not fast?" Jesus answered them, "Can the wedding guests fast while the bridegroom is with them? As long as they have the bridegroom with them, they cannot fast. But the days will come when the bridegroom is taken away from them, and then they will fast on that day. No one sews a piece of unshrunken cloth on an old cloak. If he does, its fullness pulls away the new from the old, and the tear gets worse. Likewise, no one pours new wine into old wineskins. Otherwise, the wine will burst the skins, and both the wine and the skins are ruined. Rather, new wine is poured into fresh wineskins." The Gospel of the Lord. Maybe a few words about fasting. Many of us here remember the days when we used to fast more in our church. When you grew up, I imagine people talked about fasting more. And there were more days remember Fridays were all abstinent days. We only have two obligatory days as Catholics to fast now, Ash Wednesday and Good Friday. But the practice of fasting is still part of the way to spirituality. In fact, you hear many of the spiritual writers saying that it's prayer and fasting, and the gospel says almsgiving. Those three are pathways to holiness. Not just by themselves. If I just say prayers, if I fast, it's got to be my heart's got to be invested. But those are the ways that helps my heart be more invested. So let me say a few things about fasting. Jesus says you don't fast when the bridegroom is there. Well, that's pretty obvious, really. Because the reason for fasting is to make room in my life for God. They made room in their life for God. They chose to follow him, and Christ is right there. They don't have to make room. They've already done it. And he's affecting them every day. But Jesus says when the bridegroom is gone, then they will fast, because then we'll need to make room, because he won't be right like walking with us. So that part makes sense. So I was trying to teach the seminarians about this when I taught in the seminary. I said, how can I help them understand that it's about prayer and fasting, prayer and fasting? So I got a wheelbarrow, not the little wheelbarrows. I got the big one. You know, the kind that they move cement in? It's those big, deep wheelbarrows. We had one at the seminary. And I put it out in front and by the door of the church, outside. So when they came into the church, they all saw the wheelbarrow. And they're probably wondering, why is that wheelbarrow right in front of the door? So then I talked about it in the homily. I said, I want you afterwards, these are young guys, strong guys. I want you to go out after Mass. See if you can move that wheelbarrow with one handle. Now, I bet they thought they could do it. But when you have the deep wheelbarrows that are heavy, you cannot move the wheelbarrow with one handle. You could pick it up, but it falls right over. You can't pick it up and move it. It won't go. So I hope my image got across to them. It's not just about prayer, it's about prayer and fasting. And there are many ways to fast today. Surely I could use a lot of fasting of food. But there's fasting of food, there's fasting off my phone. There are all kinds of different ways I can give up something, even if I just give it up once in the day. Maybe a dessert comes and I say, no, not today. Today I'm going to pass that up. I want to you can even say the little prayer right there. Lord, let not take that. Make a little more room. Or if I'm on the phone a lot, put the phone down, not look at it for a while. Think about what the blessings are in my life. See how in the act of the fasting, if I do it intentionally, I make some room for the Lord in my life. I heard one more idea I just heard yesterday. The fasting is like love. You know, when you love someone, you have the joy of being with them. We all know what that feels like, you know, to be with someone you really love. Your son, your daughter, when they're home, grandchildren. Then there's times when they're not there. That's the fasting. What do I do when they're not there? Someone I love. I long for them. I remember them, I miss them. I look forward to the next time I'll be with them. I like this idea a lot about the value of fasting. There's times when we feel the Lord strongly in our life. There's times when we don't. When I fast, it gives me a chance to long for him. And that longing, experiencing that longing, praying in that longing, that's the road to holiness. So let us pray. To reflect a little bit more. How can I put a little more fasting in my life so I can grab both handles on that wheelbarrow of our spirituality?